In this video, I'm going to show you some things that you can copy from Nick Kyrgios to get more power on your forehand. The Nick Kyrgios footage is courtesy of Zen Rackets on YouTube. Be sure to check their channel out. Let's jump right into it. So Nick Kyrgios is definitely an interesting character, and whether or not you love him or hate him, there's a lot of things we can learn from his tennis game. He's extremely talented, and the one thing I want to highlight on his forehand that you can copy is how loose he is. So it starts with a loose grip, and then the way that he takes the racket back, the way that you can take your Spec tennis paddle back, is with the head pointed up, because when the head is pointed up as it's going back, when that paddle goes to drop, it essentially creates a whip. From this high position down to this back position, you're creating a lot of paddle head speed. And so what I want you to do is just try this out a couple times. Maybe even grip the paddle with 2 fingers on it and just get the feeling of taking the paddle back high with 2 hands on it, then letting gravity bring it down, and then hearing that whoosh through the air as you do that. Now notice if you grip the paddle tighter, you're not gonna have the same whoosh effect. So the key is being nice and relaxed in your arms, nice and relaxed in your hand, and trying to create that whip. So paddle goes back high. Once it reaches a certain point right around here, it's going to flip around, drop, and then you start your upward forward swing. The other crucial component of that is turning with both hands on the paddle, because notice that this front shoulder begins to turn when I keep this hand on the paddle. If I don't keep my non-dominant hand on the paddle, I could take the paddle back with just my arm, and I'm not going to generate as much paddle speed, and it's also a risk of injury because you're not using the full upper and lower body on your swing. So take the paddle back with 2 hands on it. That turns this front shoulder. When I start to swing, this uncoils, and so I'm getting all that extra power because I've turned my shoulder, so I've coiled, and then as I swing, I'm uncoiling it. I'm releasing that energy. Another thing I want you to notice from Nick is the use of his legs on his forehand. Now I know the video that I showed is of him playing practice points, practice rallies, so it might not have the same intensity as when he's playing a match. He's known for being pretty casual, especially in practice. But he is using the legs a little bit. I think he could do more than he's currently doing to generate even more power if he wanted to. But the idea is that he's pushing or stepping to initiate his swings. So he's moving to the ball, he's pushing into the ground, so his knee bends, and then as he's hitting, he's getting taller. And then he's just letting his weight transfer in the most natural position. So on some of his shots, you'll notice that one foot's coming back. On other shots, if he's stepping forward into the court, then he might be shifting his weight forward. So it depends on the incoming ball, but that is really what is starting his swing. So if he doesn't have that good push or step before he hits, he's not going to get as much power, even if he is doing the whip on his forehand. And then the final component I want to talk about today is his split step. So he does a little hop, landing on both feet with his heels off the ground when he recognizes his opponent is about to hit the ball, and lets him take a good first step. So he's not late moving to the ball because he's in that nice balanced position with his heels off the ground. He's able to quickly land and then move in any direction to hit that next ball. So quick review of the tips. Number 1 is split step. You want to split step right as your opponent is about to hit the ball. So they start their forward swing just before they hit the ball. You are split stepping so that you're in the air identifying where the ball is coming off of their paddle, and then you can quickly move in the direction that you need to retrieve the next ball. Number 2 is be loose. You want to have a loose grip on the paddle. This also relaxes your arm. This is going to enable you to create that whip. Number 3, take the paddle back high. So the paddle is pointed up to the sky with your non-hitting hand on there. This is going to turn your shoulders, add that extra power, get the full kinetic chain involved. Now, if you're a beginner or intermediate player, don't worry about this step as much. You might simply be taking your paddle back low on your forehand for consistency. You're not overly concerned with extra power. But as you get more advanced, this is something you might consider, taking that paddle back high, letting it drop into that whipping motion. And number 4 is you want to initiate the start of your swing with a push or a step. And so when you make that final push or step, you're getting lower to the ground, pushing up from the ground. That initiates the forward swing. And then notice now we've engaged our whole body. So not just our arm, not just our upper body, but everything is working in conjunction with each other. So those are some takeaways from Nick's forehand that I think can really help improve your forehand. Thanks for watching today.